The final bell was screaming as I headed home. That's when I saw her, Jessica Thompson, the prettiest girl in school, being dragged into a back alley by a local thug. My first instinct was to play the hero. It was the last instinct I ever followed. The thug, a bleach-blonde punk everyone called Spike, put a knife in me. Again and again. I collapsed in a pool of my own blood. Jessica took her chance and ran. She never called the cops. Never dialed 911. By the time someone found me, it was too late. I survived, but the nerve damage was permanent. I was disabled for life. And Jessica? She seamlessly took the guaranteed admission spot to the city's top magnet high school, the one that was supposed to be mine. When I finally confronted her, my voice shaking with rage, she just stared back at me. Then she twisted the knife one last time. Weren't you two in on it together? The second I saw Jessica Thompson getting shoved into that alley by the punk with the yellow-dyed hair, my sense of justice went into overdrive. I didn't even think. Let her go, I yelled, grabbing a broken piece of a wooden pallet off the ground. Spike had Jessica pinned against the graffiti-covered brick wall. His grimy hands were all over her school uniform already torn. He whipped his head around, his face a snarling mess, his breathing heavy and ragged. You looking to die? Get lost, he spat, flashing a switchblade. This ain't your business. I hesitated for a second, but then Jessica's terrified, tear-filled eyes met mine. Alex, help me. We weren't friends, far from it. But still, like hell I will. I charged, swinging the wooden plank and cracking it against Spike's back a couple of times. While he was howling, I yanked Jessica away from him. I was about to tell her to run when I realized she already was, sprinting away without a single look back. I didn't have time to process it. I just yelled after her to call the cops. I'll hold him off, oof. A fist connected with my jaw, and I saw stars. Spike started to go after Jessica, but I lunged and wrapped my arms around his legs, holding on for dear life. You're not touching her. You're dead, he roared. Then came the searing pain as the white steel of his knife went in and came out red. In the shock of it all, I barely felt the first few stabs. I just held on, my only thought to keep him there until Jessica was safely out of the alley. The moment she disappeared from view, my strength gave out. That's when I saw the blood. My blood. Everywhere. I crumpled to the grimy pavement. Spike cursed, kicked me once for good measure, and then took off. I pressed my hands to my wounds, waiting for the sound of sirens, for Jessica to come back with help. But there was nothing, just a deafening silence. My heart felt like a block of ice. I had to save myself. I started dragging my body across the alley, the broken asphalt and gravel grinding into my wounds. The physical pain was nothing compared to the cold betrayal chilling me to the bone. A passerby eventually found me and called 911. When I woke up in the hospital, the doctor told me a major nerve in my thigh had been severed. I'd probably be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. If you'd gotten here just a few minutes earlier, we might have been able to repair it. The doctor said with a sigh. My world shattered, but I told myself it was worth it. At least Jessica was safe. She never came to visit me. Not once. Later, when the police finally caught Spike and brought me in to identify him, I saw her there. And that's when she delivered the final blow. Officer, they were working together, Jessica said, pointing a trembling finger at both me and Spike, her face a mask of manufactured fear. A white-hot rage I'd never known filled my chest, suffocating me. For weeks, I'd watched my mom's red-rimmed eyes and my dad's shoulders slump a little lower each day. I'd endured the pain and the grief by telling myself that I'd saved Jessica Thompson. And now this. Regret. It was a poison, and I was drowning in it. You're lying. I saved you. I screamed, my voice cracking. How could you say that? I glared at her, clutching my chest as I gasped for air. She looked away for a second, a flicker of guilt in her eyes, before hardening her jaw. No, you were fighting over me, she insisted, then covered her face and started to sob. The rage and shock were too much. I started convulsing and collapsed in my wheelchair. In the end, with no security cameras in the alley and Spike being just under 14, the case was closed. Aggravated assault. He was sent to juvie for a few months. As for me, there was no medal for heroism. Instead, vicious rumors spread that I was a wannabe gangster, that I'd conspired with Spike to corner a female student. My classmates avoided me. My teachers grew cold. and the guaranteed admission spot to Northwood Magnet, the best high school in the city, which had been all but promised to me, was given to Jessica instead. "We can't award this to a student with such poor character," my once friendly homeroom teacher told me, her eyes like chips of ice. Between the isolation at school and the shame of my disability, I sank into a deep depression. My grades plummeted. I couldn't understand it. I saved someone, and my life was ruined. Why was I being punished? One day, I cornered Jessica in the hallway, desperate, demanding she tell the truth. She immediately burst into tears, screaming that I was harassing her. Her little fan club of jocks swarmed me in an instant, beating me senseless and smashing my wheelchair pieces. I was suspended. I had to crawl home that day. Not long after, I dropped out of school. When Spike got out of juvie, he still held a grudge. He rounded up his crew, and one night, they broke into our house. Armed with knives, they murdered my entire family. Jessica, meanwhile, went on to the magnet school. Her future was bright. And then I opened my eyes. The sharp ring of the school bell jolted me awake. For a moment, I was disoriented, thinking it was my life flashing before my eyes. But the students around me, the classroom, it was all too real. Then I saw her, a familiar figure walking past my desk. My vision went red. Jessica Thompson. This hatred, this rage. It was no dream. I was back. I had been reborn. And this time, I wouldn't be the hero. The moment I stepped out of the school gates, I saw him. A punk with cheap, bleach blonde hair, straddling a loud, beat-up motorcycle across the street. It was Dylan Spike Morgan. He was catcalling girls as they walked by, his eyes shamelessly scanning them up and down. A venomous hatred rose in me. In my past life, this was the animal who had gathered his gang and beaten my parents to death right in front of me before torturing me to my last breath. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to look away. Spike had been expelled last month for sexually harassing a student. But since he wasn't yet 14, the cops couldn't do much. Shielded by the law, he'd only gotten more brazen, harassing not just students, but even female teachers. He was the neighborhood's resident scumbag. Suddenly, a girl shrieked. I saw Jessica Thompson yank her arm away from Spike's grasp and hurry away, looking flustered. Spike brought his hand to his nose, taking a long, theatrical drag of her lingering scent. Then he kicked his motorcycle to life and followed her, a slow, predatory crawl. I could practically see the drool. I followed from a distance. Soon, Spike closed the gap, revving his engine and cutting her off. Panicked, she darted into the narrow alley between two buildings. Spike ditched his bike and chased her in. I stared at the mouth of that alley. The main road was right there. Anyone could hear her scream. The foul memories washed over me. She could have run out and screamed for help, but she chose silence. I had saved her, and she'd repaid me with lies. I had tried to do a good deed, and my reward was a life of misery and a brutal death. This time you can die. I walked closer to the alley. It was crammed with old oil drums and discarded junk. The tall, decaying buildings on either side cast it in a permanent, gloomy twilight, even in the middle of the afternoon. If you weren't listening for it, you'd miss the faint sounds of crying coming from within. "No, please, please don't," Jessica begged. "Shut up. You scream again and I'll cut your tongue out." Spike growled. Then his voice turned sickly sweet. "I get it. No means yes. God, you smell so good. Just relax. It'll be over soon." "Ah," Jessica shrieked, making a break for the alley entrance. "Help! Somebody help me. Help MMPH." She was shouting when Spike grabbed her, clamping a hand over her mouth. He started dragging her deeper into the shadows. I listened, my face a cold, emotionless mask. A part of me even felt a grim sense of satisfaction. Soon, I heard the sound of fabric ripping. A few moments later, a muffled, guttural groan of pleasure. About 15 minutes passed. Then I heard Spike's voice, low and threatening, telling Jessica not to say a word or he'd kill her. "I'm a minor, you know. The cops can't touch me," he bragged. "But if you snitch and piss me off, I'll kill your whole family." Jessica just kept sobbing. Then, like some B-movie villain, Spike declared, "You're my woman now. Stick with me, and you'll live the high life. No one will ever mess with you again." "No, I don't want to," she cried. That seemed to anger him. "What? You want another round? I'll be waiting here for you after school tomorrow," he threatened. "You dare stand me up, and I'll make sure everyone in school knows what I did to you." After a few more threats, he finally emerged from the alley, looking pleased with himself. He even turned back and yelled something cheesy into the darkness. "I love you." Then he hopped on his motorcycle, popped a wheelie, and roared away. A long time later, I saw Jessica stumble out, clutching her backpack. She was rubbing her skin furiously, trying to wipe away his spit. She scrubbed and scrubbed until her skin was raw and red. But no matter how clean she got, she still looked so dirty. Her eyes were glassy and unfocused. 03 Vengeance. On the walk home, the air had never smelled sweeter. But that feeling didn't last. The next morning at school, things turned sour fast. I ran into my best friend, Mark, on his way to the vending machine. The look on his face was pure disgust. "Coward," he spat at me. I was completely lost. "What are you talking about?" I asked, grabbing his arm. "You have the nerve to ask? You spineless jerk, you just let it happen." She told him. My heart sank, but I played dumb. "Let it happen." "Mark, what's going on?" He paused, looking a little less certain. "Yesterday, after school, you saw Spike drag Jessica into that alley, didn't you?" he demanded. "Why didn't you help her? You could have at least yelled for someone." "I didn't see anything," I said, my voice full of fake surprise. Mark looked confused. "You really didn't know?" "I swear, if I knew it was Jessica, I would have done something," I said, making my voice earnest. "All I'd have to do is shout from the street. I've got no beef with Jessica. Don't you remember last month when that creep from the other class cornered her by the bathrooms? I was the one who ran and got a teacher. I even got punched for it. That did it." Mark believed me. He knew I wasn't that kind of person. But his expression quickly shifted to worry. "Then you need to go explain it to everyone fast." "Explain what?" I understood as soon as I walked into our classroom. Nearly everyone was shooting me dirty looks, whispering behind their hands. The second I sat down, the whispers got louder. "Here comes the scumbag. Sees a classmate in trouble and does nothing. And he pretends to be so helpful all the time. Well, duh. How else do you think he got that guaranteed spot at Northwood? It's disgusting. He's our class president. He should be kicked out." "Guys, quiet down. I don't believe Alex would do something like that. Just wait until Spike comes after you. Then you'll see." I clenched my fists, the sound of their slander ringing in my ears. My eyes shot toward Jessica. She immediately flinched and looked away. I wanted to scream at her, but I knew it was pointless. Right now, she was the victim, and they were all on her side. So I said nothing. After the first period, the whispers grew more confident. I was being silent, so I must be guilty. I even saw some kids go out into the hall to spread the story to other classes. I was so furious I went to the bathroom. As I left, I saw a figure lingering outside. I glanced at my smartwatch. The moment I stepped out of the bathroom, Jessica pulled me into an empty alcove. "Why are you slandering me?" I demanded angrily. She looked taken aback for a second, then her face crumpled. "You have no idea what Spike did to me, and he said he's going to do it again after school." "What does that have to do with me? Why did you lie and say I was there?" I said, my voice cold. "Can't you call the police? Can't you tell your parents?" "I'm scared. He said he'd kill my family if I told anyone." She whimpered, wiping away tears. I don't know what to do." She looked up at me, her eyes pleading. "That doesn't give you the right to throw me under the bus." I shot back. "You're afraid he'll kill your family, but you think I'm not? You didn't even ask me. You just pinned it on me. How am I supposed to help you now? What do you expect a middle school kid to do?" "You could pretend to be my boyfriend," she said immediately. "That way he'll—" I cut her off. "Are you insane? He'd kill me. I'm telling you, go to the police. Now." Jessica fell silent. After a long moment, she pursed her lips. "If you won't help me, then you can just enjoy being hated." "Why?" I was speechless. "What did I ever do to you?" "So what?" she said, a new, defiant edge to her voice. "You're the class president. It's your job to help me." Unbelievable. I just turned and walked back to the classroom. When I got there, I saw one of her male fans scribbling something on my desk. "What are you doing?" I shouted, lunging forward. He tried to run, but I grabbed him. He stood there, chin jutting out defiantly. I looked at my desk. "Coward, scumbag, and not fit to be president" were scrawled in permanent marker. "Wipe it off." "Now," I ordered. "No way," he sneered. "I'm not wrong, am I?" 0 for I had to laugh. It was either that or lose my mind. Not wrong. So whatever she says is gospel. I asked, my voice rising. What if she said you were the one who saw her and did nothing? Would you just take the abuse? You're just trying to twist things, the kid blustered, his face turning red. You me what? I shot back, raising my voice to be heard by the whole class. You're an idiot. Is she the absolute truth? Did she show you any proof? Any evidence at all? What proof do you need? She saw you with her own eyes, a girl nearby chimed in. And I'm telling you I saw you with Spike. I saw it with my own eyes, I retorted. See how that works. You're going to ruin my reputation without a shred of proof. Jessica wouldn't lie to us, the girl insisted blindly. I laughed again, a harsh, bitter sound. And I would. I went straight home after school yesterday. I didn't see a damn thing. When did I watch and do nothing? I pointed at the students who have been whispering the loudest. What happens next time? When she points at you, or you, or you. I jabbed my finger at each of them. What if she says you're the ones who cornered her in an alley? Are you all going to just accept being called scumbags? The ones I pointed at flushed with anger and embarrassment. The girl tried to speak again, but I cut her off, pointing right at her. What if she says you've been bullying her? Are you going to let everyone call you a monster? She shut her mouth. I pressed my advantage. When did a one-sided story become fact? Is she a queen who can condemn anyone just by pointing her finger? Do you have any idea how much damage you can do to an innocent person? Don't come crying to me when it's your turn. Just then, someone muttered that I should have denied it from the start. When a dog barks at me, should I bark back? I sneered. Can any of you guarantee she's a saint? I'm teaching you all a lesson. Acting on baseless accusations. Hurting someone without a second thought. Aren't you ashamed of yourselves? A wave of guilt washed over the classroom. That's when Mark spoke up, his voice loud and clear. Everyone knows how good Alex is to us. There's no way he'd just stand by and watch something like that happen. A few other girls quickly agreed. He's right. When those creeps from the other class bother us, Alex always steps in. I don't believe for a second he'd see Jessica in trouble and ignore her. The silent majority started to nod in agreement. The few who had been leading the charge looked even more ashamed, until a soft, wounded voice cut through the room. Alex, I don't blame you. But please, don't yell at them, Jessica said, her voice trembling. If you have to blame someone, blame me. I guess I just deserve to be attacked by Spike. With that, she ran back to her desk, collapsed onto it, and started sobbing. Instantly, dozens of sharp, accusing glares were fixed on me. Oh, I'm definitely blaming you. Cut the innocent act, I said coldly. Then I tapped my smartwatch and played the recording from the alcove. If you won't help me, then you can just enjoy being hated. The whole class listened in stunned silence. All eyes turned to Jessica. Her feigned sobs turned into genuine, humiliated wails. One by one, the students who had insulted me came to my desk to apologize. They helped me scrub the marker off my desk. I looked over at the weeping Jessica and sneered. So your big plan was to get assaulted by a thug and then frame me for it? What's wrong with you? She cried even harder and ran out of the classroom. A few of her friends chased after her. A few minutes later, she returned, her eyes red and swollen. She stopped in front of me and mumbled an apology. I'm sorry. I only said that because I wanted you to protect me. I'm so sorry. Just tell him it's okay, one of her simps hissed. You wanted my protection, so you had to slander me first? I shot back. Couldn't you just ask for help like a normal person? What kind of twisted game are you playing? The guy behind her puffed out his chest. Alex, that's enough. She already apologized. What more do you want? I laughed. Was I supposed to just accept being slandered by all of you? How about this? All of you start calling her a liar, and then I'll apologize. How does that sound? You just apologized, and now you're defending her again? I said, turning to the boy. You care so much about her. Why don't you protect her after school? He stammered, saying that as class president, it was my duty to help. Fine. I'm asking you to help now. Jessica pleaded, looking at me with desperate hope. I was going to help, I said, my voice dripping with ice as I looked past her at her little fan club. But now how can I? You guys are all talk. Too scared to do anything yourselves. But you have the nerve to blame me? How pathetic can you be? They bristled at the insult. We'll help. Who's afraid of that bleach blonde loser? Yeah, we'll beat the crap out of him after school. They turned to Jessica, puffing their chests out. Don't worry, Jessica. We'll protect you after school. We'll all walk you home. He won't lay a finger on you. Jessica nodded. a flicker of hope in her tear-filled eyes. Thank you. I chuckled. I wouldn't get your hopes up if I were you. Shut up with your negativity. If you're not going to help, then stay out of it. They snapped, eager to look brave in front of Jessica. I just shrugged and said nothing more. After school, a few other students tried to reason with them, suggesting they tell a teacher or call the police. But Jessica's self-proclaimed bodyguards just scoffed, boasting that they weren't cowards like some people. A group of 5 or 6 guys, with a couple of girls tagging along, formed a protective circle around Jessica and marched toward the school gates like a miniature army. It was almost comical. The moment Spike showed up, smiling and waving at Jessica, half of her army vanished into thin air. The remaining few nervously urged Jessica to just keep walking. But Spike just rolled his beat-up motorcycle in front of them, blocking their path. He seemed to understand their little game. He dismounted and walked toward them. One of the would-be heroes puffed out his chest. This is a society of laws. I'm warning you, oof. He went down with a loud cry as Spike backhanded him across the face, sending him sprawling. Warning me about what? Spike sneered, planting his boot on the kid's head. The down boy howled. Guys, get him. We don't bow down to criminals. Take this jerk down. Get him. Get him. The others yelled, raising their fists. For a split second, it looked like they might actually fight. Then, in perfect unison, they all dropped to their knees. Spike, man, we're sorry. It was a misunderstanding. Please let us go. Who are you calling, Spike? It's Daddy to you, Spike roared, slapping each of them across the face as he toyed with his switchblade. He was especially handsy with the girls, who were frozen in terror, tears streaming down their faces. Within a minute, they were all scrambling away, tripping over each other in their haste to escape. Jessica, who had been standing on the sidelines pleading "stop it," while watching her friends get beaten, was now sobbing, her face a mask of despair. Her eyes darted around, searching for an escape. I ducked behind a car, watching as Spike grabbed her and dragged her away. Well, I thought to myself, she can't possibly blame me for this. I had severely underestimated their shamelessness. The next day, before I even reached the classroom, I could hear them. Jessica, it's not your fault. That guy Spike is just a monster. Totally, but I think we should really blame Alex. He knew we were going to get our asses kicked, and he didn't even bother to tell a teacher. Exactly. It's all his fault. Isn't he the one who's always snitching to the teachers? Ahem. I cleared my throat as I walked into the room. They all fell silent. A few moments later, they stormed over to my desk, demanding that I report Spike to the police for Jessica. Their audacity was breathtaking. Don't you have hands? A mouth? Do it yourselves, I said, not even looking up. They scoffed. You're the class president. It's your duty to protect your classmates. Get lost. That duty expired the moment she started spreading lies about me. I snapped. They got agitated. Are you really going to hold that little thing against her? Jessica is going through hell. We all got beaten up, and you're just going to sit there and do nothing. You're not fit to be class president. Yeah, if something terrible happens to her, will you be able to live with yourself? That actually made me laugh. My reputation is a little thing, but her drama is my problem. You guys made a promise to protect her yesterday. If something happens to her, that's on your conscience. You're all too scared of what Spike might do. So you want me to be your sacrificial lamb? Don't you realize how disgusting that is? They had no answer to that. Just then, Jessica approached, her eyes red and pleading. Alex, class president, can you please help me? Just call the police for me. Spike wouldn't dare do anything. What? Are your limbs broken? I shot back. You're terrified of him, but you're telling me he wouldn't dare? You want me to bet my future on the hope that he wouldn't dare? Are you trying to get me killed? Her expression froze. A moment later, she burst into tears and ran back to her desk. I shrugged. You slander my name and then have the gall to ask me for help. Her fan club was instantly enraged. That's enough, Alex. If you're not going to help, fine, but you don't have to be such a jerk about it. Seriously, how can someone so cold-hearted be our class president? At least we had the guts to try. Some people are just cowards who run their mouths. They started shouting that they were going to the homeroom teacher to have me removed as class president and to have my guaranteed admission spot revoked. I laughed in their faces. So now you're trying to ruin my life, and you think you're the good guys? A whole group of you failed, so you send me to do your dirty work? You think my life is worthless? That's when other classmates started to intervene. That's enough. Alex didn't do anything wrong. Why are you all attacking him? Yeah, she lied about him. It's perfectly reasonable for him not to help. You're the ones who are too scared to call the cops. So you try to force him to do it? That's just sick. Mark was practically shouting, jabbing a finger in their faces. You're all a bunch of scumbags. Shamed into silence, they retreated to their seats. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. Not long after school let out, Spike cornered me in an alley. He grabbed me by the collar of my shirt, his face inches from mine. You're the one who wants to go to the teachers? Call the cops, he snarled. No way, I said immediately. I wouldn't dare. A fist slammed into my gut, knocking the wind out of me. Lying to me? Spike growled, his hand tightening around my neck. I saw Jessica lurking at the end of the alley. She avoided my gaze. I understood instantly. If I had called the cops, they'd be here already. I gasped out. Besides, I think you two are a perfect match. Oomph. Damn right you're too scared, he said, spitting on my face. Let me hear that kind of talk again, and I'll kill you. The humiliation was a burning fire in my gut. For a second, I thought about fighting back, but then I remembered my parents. I had to protect them. I forced a smile. You can't just believe everything she says. What if she's lying to you? What you gonna do next? Tell you to beat up whoever she doesn't like. Spike just laughed, a cruel, arrogant sound. She tells me to hit someone, I hit them. What's it to you? I clenched my jaw, saying nothing. I thought he was done, but a moment later he was back. That guaranteed spot at Northwood Magnet you've got, he said. Give it to my girl. I froze for a second, then gritted my teeth. On what grounds? Spike pulled out his knife. I folded instantly. I'll tell the teacher tomorrow. Pathetic, he sneered, then walked away laughing. I watched him swagger off and throw his arm around Jessica, who had a triumphant smirk on her face. I clenched my fists until my knuckles were white, then forced them to relax. It's all yours, Jessica, but can you handle it? The next day, I went to my homeroom teacher and told her I wanted to withdraw my name for the guaranteed admission spot. She was shocked. Why, Alex, you know how unpredictable the entrance exams can be. This spot is a sure thing. Our school only gets 1 or 2 of these a year. I'd rather it go to a student who needs it more. I'm confident I can get in on my own, I said, faking a self-assurance I didn't feel. She couldn't argue with that. She praised my supposed generosity and agreed. Back in class, I caught Jessica watching me. When our eyes met, she quickly looked away. You can have the spot, I thought with a grim smirk, but what good will it do you? A little while later, our teacher came in to announce that the guaranteed admission spot would be given to the runner-up, Jessica Thompson. She gasped with delight, then shot me a look of pure, gloating triumph. After class, her groupies and best friends swarmed her with congratulations. I always said the spot should have gone to Jessica. Why should it only be about grades? Exactly. Jessica is beautiful and kind. Some people who are too scared to stand up for others don't deserve it. It's what she deserves. Mark was about to explode, but I put a hand on his arm. Let them talk, I said quietly. I thought giving her the scholarship would be the end of it. I thought she would finally leave me alone. I was a fool to underestimate her cruelty. That evening, as I was walking home, someone kicked me hard in the back, sending me face first onto the pavement. Before I could react, iron bars were raining down on me. I curled into a ball, covering my head, shouting for help. You hit me again. I'm calling the cops. I yelled through the pain. Go ahead, call them. Spike shouted, kicking me viciously in the ribs. You think you can mess with my girl and get away with it? Who messed with your girl? I choked out, tasting blood. I gave her the goddamn scholarship. What more do you want? That just made him angrier. He slapped me across the face a few times for talking back, then pressed the cold iron pipe against my cheek. I hear one more word from Jessica about you bothering her, and you're dead. Got it. Then he strolled away, whistling. I slammed my fist against the ground, helpless rage consuming me. Just you wait, Jessica Thompson. Just you wait. When I got home, my parents immediately saw the bruises on my face. Were you in a fight at school? My dad asked, his voice tight. No, I just tripped, I lied. Wasn't watching where I was going. I tried to smile, but they just stared at me in silence. My stomach dropped. Of course they knew. Ms. Davis called us. My mom said softly. About the scholarship. Alex, did someone threaten you? They wanted to call the police. I quickly stopped them. It's nothing, really. Someone else just needed it more than me. They didn't press it, but as I went to my room, my dad's voice stopped me. Whatever happens, son, Your mom and I are here for you. We can handle anything, so don't be afraid. I nodded, a lump forming in my throat. Don't worry, I thought. I won't let the tragedy happen again. They will all pay. 07. The next morning, I wiped off the concealer I'd used to cover the worst of the bruises before I left the house. I walked into the classroom with the marks on full display. Mark gasped. Alex, what happened? The entire class turned to look at me. The whispers started instantly. Mark's eyes widened. Was it Spike? Did he do this? He asked loudly, his gaze flicking toward Jessica. I locked my eyes on her and raised my voice, filled with accusation. Jessica Thompson, why did you tell Spike I was bothering you? He nearly beat me to death. My eyes were red with fury. Every student in the room turned to stare at her. She panicked for a moment before her eyes welled up with tears. I didn't. He's crazy. He'll do anything. He told me himself. I roared. He said if I ever bothered you again, he'd kill me. When the hell did I ever bother you? Tell me. The classroom was dead silent. You could have heard a pin drop. I didn't. Jessica sobbed, completely terrified. I have no reason to do that. Why would I? He must have just decided he doesn't like you and beat you up. Then she urged me to call the police. The police will teach him a lesson, she said, a strange hopefulness in her eyes. Before I could respond, her fan club jumped to her defense. That's enough. Alex, I don't believe Jessica would do something like that. Yeah, she's a victim in all this, too. Why are you blaming her? What kind of man are you? Instead of going after the guy who beat you up, you pick on a girl. You're just a bully who preys on the weak. I was shaking with rage. I pulled out my phone and played the audio I had hastily recorded the night before. I hear one more word from Jessica about you bothering her, and you're dead. Got it. Jessica's face went white. I finally let loose all my pent-up fury. Still want to deny it, you monster. Stop playing the victim. He beat me with an iron pipe. He was trying to smash my skull in. He wanted to kill me. I screamed, my voice raw. You absolute psycho. What did I ever do to you? First, you framed me for doing nothing. Then you sick your thug boyfriend on me to kill me. I even gave you the damn scholarship. What more do you want? Do you want me dead? Is that it? The whole class was in stunned silence. Then the whispers started again, but this time, the disgust was aimed squarely at Jessica. So, she stole the scholarship. She's a monster. That's disgusting. Using her thug boyfriend to get what she wants. And she still acts like the poor victim. She probably loves it, being his queen. Totally. She loves the power. Jessica's face was a mask of horror and shame. The boys who had defended her were silent, their expressions conflicted. Finally, she mumbled, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to. I just wanted you to save me. Sobbing, she stumbled over to me and fell to her knees, grabbing my leg. Please say it's okay. I kicked her away. Get the hell off me. I snarled. You wanted me to save you, so you'd Spike try to kill me? Is that your logic? My voice turned to ice. Well, guess what? Now I'm bothering you. Go tell Spike to finish the job. I turned and walked back to my seat, leaving her trembling on the floor, shrinking under the contemptuous stares of our classmates. No, it's not like that, she whimpered. For the next few days, a group of about a dozen classmates walked with me after school to make sure I got home safely. We saw Spike waiting for Jessica. He casually slapped her butt, and they left together, though she didn't look too happy about it. After that, Jessica started staying late after school every day, waiting for her dad to pick her up. This, predictably, infuriated Spike. And once again, he cornered me on my way home. Get Jessica out here. Now, or you're dead, he growled. My heart pounded, but I kept my voice steady. You know, this is kind of your fault. My fault? He asked, confused. I shrugged. That scholarship you made me give her. All she wants now is to get into Northwood and then dump you. What? She said if I got her the spot, she'd be my wife, Spike grumbled. Just get her out here. She won't come out, I said, shaking my head. But maybe I can help you in a little while. His eyes lit up. He agreed to wait. Half an hour later, Mr. Thompson's car pulled up. I walked over, putting on a friendly smile. Mr. Thompson. I told him I needed to talk to him about something important and pulled him aside. What is it? He asked, clearly annoyed. I put on a grim expression. Sir, did Jessica tell you about the guaranteed admission spot? I sighed heavily. I was threatened into giving it up. Mr. Thompson scoffed. What are you trying to say? You want to threaten me, so my daughter gives it back. Dream on. My daughter earned that spot with her talent and my guidance. No, sir, that's not it. I don't care about the spot, I said quickly, then hesitated for dramatic effect. It's just Jessica. What about her? He asked, now curious. I looked down, my voice full of fake pain. She's being terrorized by that thug, Spike. What? Mr. Thompson's face darkened with fury. I told him everything, painting myself as a helpless but concerned classmate. I ended with a sigh. I just can't stand by and watch Spike corrupt her. That kid has already been to juvie for sexual assault. Mr. Thompson was shaking with rage. He looked around, spotted a loose brick on the ground, and bent to pick it up. I'll kill that animal, he roared. Who the hell does he think he is, touching my daughter? Just then, as if on cue, I saw Spike dragging a struggling Jessica away from the school entrance. Sir, calm down, I said urgently. He's not 14 yet. You'll go to jail if you assault him. Mr. Thompson's eyes were bloodshot. To hell with that. He's going to pay for this. Sir, you should at least bring a weapon. I think he carries a pipe, I said, adding fuel to the fire. Mr. Thompson said he had something in the car. Do you know where that punk hangs out? My eyes went wide with fake shock. I pointed down the street. Sir, look, Spike is taking Jessica. What? Mr. Thompson spun around and saw Spike forcing Jessica onto his motorcycle. He exploded. You bastard, you're dead. He sprinted his car. I rushed to follow, but then accidentally twisted my ankle. Ouch! I cried out, falling to the ground. Sir, you go on ahead. As the car screeched away, a slow, cold smile spread across my face. Time to reap what you've sown, Jessica. I followed at a safe distance. I saw Spike drag Jessica into the same familiar alley. She was fighting him, but he just slapped her, stunning her in his silence. A moment later, I heard Spike's heavy breathing and grunts of pleasure. Mr. Thompson, who had just gotten out of his car, was practically steaming. Without a second's hesitation, he popped his trunk, pulled out a solid tire iron, and charged into the alley. You animal! I'll kill you! Who the hell is that? You try to ruin a good time, you bastard! Spike yelled, annoyed. He didn't even bother to get up, just pulled out his knife. Get lost if you don't want to die. He had Jessica pinned against an oil drum. Seeing this, Mr. Thompson started trembling, his voice a choked roar. You little monster! Jessica heard her father's voice and looked up in horror. She burst into a full-blown, hysterical scream. Dad! Dad! Spike looked confused for a second, then a greasy smile spread across his face. Hey, Pop, we're just making you a grandson. Kinda awkward for you to watch, though. I'll make you a corpse. Mr. Thompson bellowed, swinging the tire iron and cracking it against Spike's head. Blood gushed instantly. Ark! Spike screamed, stumbling to his feet. He touched his head, and his hand came away covered in blood. You old bastard! You're asking for it, he roared, lunging at Mr. Thompson with the knife, aiming for his throat. No! Jessica, snapping out of her shock, threw herself at Spike's legs, holding on tightly. The knife missed its target. Mr. Thompson, who had flinched in fear, was now filled with renewed rage. He brought the tire iron down on Spike's head again. This time, however, he seemed to pull back a bit, as if afraid of making things worse. Get your parents here, he threatened. This is going to cost you $200,000, or you're going to prison. Prison my ass. Spike cursed. He suddenly spun around and plunged the knife into Jessica. Bitch, you dare get in my way. No! Mr. Thompson screamed in terror, but it was too late. Jessica looked down at the rapidly expanding bloodstain on her chest. Her eyes widened, her mouth opened, and she let out a piercing shriek. Spike kicked her off him, sending her crumpling to the ground. Serves you right, he sneered. But before he could even turn back around, the bloody tire iron came crashing down on his already broken skull with unrestrained fury. You animal, you ruined my daughter. After that, all I heard were screams that grew weaker and weaker. Then nothing. I didn't stick around. I feigned terror and ran. Over the next few days, Jessica was absent from school. The police came to ask questions, and they interviewed me privately. I told them what I saw from the perspective of a terrified bystander, making sure to tremble and stammer appropriately. They didn't push me too hard. I was just a kid, after all. I later learned what happened. Spike had been beaten to death by Mr. Thompson. Jessica was critically injured and died in the hospital a few days later. Mr. Thompson was ultimately acquitted on grounds of self-defense. But after he was released, he filed a lawsuit against the police department, the school, and me. He claimed we had all failed in our duties to maintain public safety, protect students, and protect a fellow classmate. He demanded $10 million in damages. From me, seriously? But that lawsuit never went anywhere. Because Spike's old gang paid the Thompsons a visit. They wiped out the entire family.